Excuse me.
All right, I've been doing some reading and research about obviously UFOs, as always, and aliens, but also kind of folklore and fairies. And, throughout the ages, people have always, have had stories about encountering fairies in the woods, or there's folklore about fairies and coming in, kidnapping people. And then, that later on in the years, it somehow maybe turned into aliens in a way. And this has been one of the theories that, what if this phenomenon is the same? What if all these different phenomenon are one and the same? They're just viewed differently throughout the years. I think that's something you kind of subscribe to, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, it's like the goat man's, the dog man. A lot of these things kind of merge together, and so it's just the way people perceive it and describe it.
Yeah. So I'm going to read down some stuff. Peruse. I'm going to glance at some stuff that I've. I'm going to glance at some stuff that I put together, and to try to kind of maybe solidify this idea that maybe this one and the same phenomenon. Maybe they're not too far off here. And I'll post.
Mike can't read, people. Get ready.
Yeah, get ready. This is going to be a doozy, but I'm going to try. This first one comes from a place called strangehistory.net. Fairies and aliens are often described as shining. Fairies and aliens are ambivalent forces for great good or great evil in individuals' lives. Angry fairies have fairy blasts. Aliens have laser rays and radiation burns. Fairies and aliens need humanity. Both particularly prey on humanity for sexual purposes. They take children or nursing mothers. Or they borrow sperm and eggs, and both, from time to time, have sex with humans.
That's crazy. I might, I'm gay, so I can technically qualify as a fairy.
Yeah.
I did call my neighbor 3 days ago. I was like, could I borrow a cup of sperm? Like, we're out over here. Gay! They borrow.
Yeah.
How much can you just knock on your neighbor's door and ask for like a cup of sperm and a few eggs?
It's a very friendly city.
Yeah.
They're very open-minded.
Yeah. Got any sperm in there?
Yes. We're out. We're spent.
I said, you got any sperm in there?
Madam, shooting dust over here.
There are humans who have special gifts at channeling, or like fairies or aliens. Because you've heard, even the Vril Society, the people who inspired the occultism in Nazi in the Third Reich, they were channeling these draconian creatures. So when it comes to channeling fairies or spirits, there seems to be some similarities here when it comes to the interactions with these entities and humans. With at least when it comes to like sexual encounters, experiments, and just coming into a person's life in a very similar manner. Mm-hmm. Now, there's another thing I just recently, I'd never heard this term before, but this term is called ultra-terrestrials. Have you heard this term before, Joe?
Ultra-terrestrials. That's got to be bigger than extraterrestrial.
You would assume so. So ultra-terrestrial is a term coined by John Keel in the 1970s to refer to technologically and scientifically advanced sentience who supersede human civilizations. So, let's say we did have a breakaway civilization. We have people over in Area 51. They have access to super awesome high technology. They could be considered ultra-terrestrials because they're not sharing it with us. They could be their own thing out there. Also, ultra-terrestrials are said to be living amongst humans since the dawn of time. Unlike extraterrestrials, they do not come from another star system, but rather from Earth. They may be a different branch of biological evolution or certain human culture that unexplainably has evolved much faster than others. And that has been a theory in ufology and some of the stuff for a while, that maybe these aliens aren't that far away, that maybe they've been here the entire time. There's reports of UFOs going into the ocean, and perhaps that's where they reside. Is that there is a parallel civilization going on right now, and there always has been. And they're not from some distant galaxy or star system. They've been here all along. They're ultra-terrestrials. What do you think about that theory, Joe?
I mean, that's it wasn't Cloverfield, wasn't the thing underwater too? I think this one's interesting. I like this one.
I kind of like that. I mean, in the movie Abyss, that was directed, I think even written by James Cameron, it was about a deep sea platform.
Reference too, yeah.
And they were encountering these USOs. I think they're called undersea objects or unidentified sea objects, or and that was the main crux of the movie. That in the Abyss, they went down there, they encountered these weird creatures. Military people came down. They didn't understand these aliens, so they were going to nuke them. that was the plot of the movie.
Duh.
And that's what the military does. Isn't
that the same plot as like Pandora or whatever that was? Pandora?
What? You talking about a movie?
This is the video with the blue shits with James Cameron.
That was. Oh God, you're gonna have to look it up. It's kind of like, I think the planet was called Pandora.
Baby, what was that favorite movie of yours with the blue things you wanted to bang?
Bang nothing blue.
What was it? Just.
Rude asshole.
Oh God, what was it? Movie that you like with Pandora. Avatar. Jesus, good goddamn. Yeah, they just wanted to bomb all the fuck out of these blue things and take their unobtainium.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Was Eric being cute with you?
Yeah, he said he didn't want to bang any blue things except for my bruised asshole.
Hey now. All right. Good for him.
Still refuses to come on the show.
Yeah, well, we heard him. He's on the show now. So these ultra-terrestrials are so superior to us, it's almost impossible for us to comprehend their existence. All we know of them are fleeting glimpses of light in the sky, occasional bizarre encounters between human beings and so-called aliens, and other unexplained phenomenon. And I guess in those unexplained phenomena, you can throw in Missing 411, you can throw in Bigfoot, you can throw in cryptid encounters. I think even from last show when Clown Baby talked about the gargoyles of Pennsylvania, or even Dogman. These might be ultra-terrestrials at this point. I'd throw them in there. I throw everything in there. Yes. Trump, as far as I'm concerned, is an ultra-terrestrial. Yeah.
It's probably true.
Yeah.
We already established he's time traveling.
Oh, yeah. So. Oh, yes. Him and Pence love the time travel. People who support the ultra-terrestrial theory point out that supernatural beings seemingly superior to humans have been reported throughout history. In previous eras, they were called gods, angels, ogres, fairies, brownies, little people, demons, and more. And you see this, you can see Renaissance paintings of these weird orbs in the sky. There's hieroglyphics of depicting strange technological things or gods, dog-headed and headed creatures, elongated skulls on some of the Egyptian pharaohs. A lot of weird things and a lot of weird mythology that really kind of speaks to these ultra-terrestrials. Some maverick UFO investigators have pointed out the amazing similarities between modern UFO aliens and that of elves, fairies, and various little people famous in folklore and many cultures. Fairies are well known for kidnapping people, the same irritating habit UFO aliens have. Is that a habit? I think that's just a crime.
Yeah.
Yeah. People.
I don't know.
I got a bad habit of kidnapping people. I can't break this thing.
It's just so. I mean, I don't feel like myself.
Like, I got a bad habit of abducting a guy off the street and milking him for his sperm. That's what these aliens are doing. It's not a bad habit. It's a crime. It is. I mean, if you look at it,
yeah, but they're under intergalactic law, which is like maritime law. It's very different.
I guess you're right.
You can milk anybody as long as you're from another planet. You can milk women who are lactating or aliens if they don't even have tits. You just look for stuff and milk it, figure out what happens. If you can get yourself to another planet, I think you're covered.
Yeah.
I was a man when I was 12 years old.
Well, you can be milk then.
Yeah.
Ready for a milking, Alex.
People who are abducted report incidents of missing time, a phenomenon very similar to time lapses reported by people taken to and returned from fairyland. I don't know about fairyland, Joe. I know there could be a joke right there, and we don't need to go to joke jail right now.
No.
No.
That's too low. The fruit is hanging too low on that tree.
One of the most interesting comparisons between aliens and fairies is that they are both interested in stealing babies. One of the most common fairy activities is swiping babies from cribs and sometimes replacing them with a false double or changeling, as they are sometimes called. Now, I've never heard about this, like a pod person, essentially, is what they're talking about, is that they take the real baby and they replace it with a fake one. But how do they know it's fake at that point? Is it acting weird, or possibly do they come back and the baby is dead, like it's a sudden infant death syndrome?
Right. Is it like a cyborg baby or like another real baby that looks a lot like the other baby, like when the goldfish dies and you got to replace it before Billy gets home?
They don't go into too much detail here. This is just an overview of the comparison between aliens and fairies. One of the most interesting comparisons, I read that. Just as human beings capture and tag various species, UFO abductees report experiences of extreme similarity. Many people report being tagged during frightening sessions on a UFO operating table. Some of these tags have been recovered or shown up in MRI exams and remain unexplained, which you can see on YouTube. People use like alien implant or UFO implant. There's these little slivers of metal put in somebody, and then once it's removed, the people report that the abductions stop. And it's very bizarre. We talked about some like UFO and abductions last week with the rundown I did of Dr. Stephen Greer's UFO film Unacknowledged. And by the way, I've got some comments about that. People have called him out and have written me saying, "Hey, Dr. Greer, he is a fraudster.
Yeah,
don't believe him."
I kind of think so too.
He is using the UFO community to further himself
and make some money.
Some money. And
he's constantly on the verge of exposing everything. It's crazy. That's why I know of him. I've run across him for years.
I'm in a situation where I want to believe him, and I talked about that. He does speak so passionately that you really want to believe all the information he has. I'll dig into him a little bit more, and but yeah, the people, I hear you. I know what you think, and I know you. Some of you don't think he's on the up and up, but I still think the film is worth watching because I think it does cover a good amount of UFO material. So back to this fairies and aliens comparison. It's possible that ultra-terrestrials comprehend and operate within higher levels of dimensions than we experience as humans. A monkey could never understand that time and space are actually two parts of the same dimension, as scientists have discovered. Well, not the monkeys. They know. I mean, what about Bubbles, Michael Jackson's monkey? He probably could understand that kind of stuff. I don't know. But, I mean, that's been one of the rumors that, these aliens not necessarily come from a different solar system, but are interdimensional beings. And they slip through the dimensions. And boom, here they are. They're abducting me, and they're doing God knows what to my asshole. Who knows?
I don't care. Just keep doing what you're doing.
I'll see you next week, pal.
It's working.
You do you. Then you do me.
That's how it works.
If ultra-terrestrials can exist above and beyond space-time, that means they can easily see us, trick us, and manipulate our existence while we can't see them at all, or only in the most crude manner, or perhaps only when they allow us to see them. So they may come in many different forms, and they might come as fairies from the past, or Bigfoot, Dogman, space aliens, who the fuck knows. Then I came across a very interesting PDF where it gives a big rundown, big long rundown of these alien versus fairy, and are they one and the same phenomenon? I'll see if I can post it to the feed in some way. I'll just read down just a few of these. There's like 10 major comparisons, and I can't go through them all. But like number 3 here, let's start with number 2. Both are shape shifters. Fairies, aliens, and UFO manipulate their forms at will, splitting into 2 or more, many joining into one. And we've seen that with UFO footage. Balls of light separating and then coming back together. Mm-hmm. That happens. Another one is both are shining, luminescent entities. Fairies are described as glowing, aliens as fluorescent. We've seen that. They are protein entities with quasi-physical nature and malleable bodies. They pass effortlessly through material objects and instantly appear and disappear. Okay? Fairies and aliens are part of the daemon tradition, having power over human affairs. Both operate from a universal system of reciprocity.
Yeah.
They provide the opportunity to partake in a process of developing extraordinary talents or skills, charming, conjuring, curing, and using extrasensory or psychic abilities. And this kind of goes on and on. And it really, all these different articles I've kind of amassed here, it does seem like it's the same goddamn phenomenon. And even the ultra-terrestrial kind of thing kind of speaks to the airship sightings of the late 1800s, early 1900s. These things have been here a long time, but their appearance does change as man evolves and as man gets more technologically advanced. These things and their appearance, they change. They change with us. So something goofy's going on here. Something a little wacky's going on.
Again, I go back to the way people describe things and their, basically where they are, what they're familiar with. Is it a goat man or a dog man? Or are these things like shapeshifters and they can understand their audience and they know, wow, this old thing that we were doing before isn't going to work because everybody's perspective is so much different.
We got to reboot. Got to call Michael Bay. We got to reboot this thing. Fairies aren't in. We got to go to airships. Oh, you know what? Airships are lame. Zeppelins. Yeah. No one's going to believe this shit. We got to reboot this. Let's do discs.
Discs. Cigars.
We got to do cigars. Shapes. All right. We got to start abducting people, okay, and start playing with their privates. They love that stuff.
Let's mutilate some cows, people.
Let's get it together. We're going to need some cow tongue.
Ground.
We need cow tongue stat. Let's move on, please.